Gentlemen, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is great to see everybody here for this celebration as we come to the end of our Global Baku Forum. And before we get back to our meal, we have a number of additional messages that we would like to share with you that people have sent to us. And I will call them out, and our colleagues are going to put them on, because these are initially video messages, and then we will deal with the live messages at the very end. So let me start with Director General Tatiana Valovaya, Director General of the United Nations Office at Geneva. Video message, please.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I sincerely congratulate you on the successful conclusion of the 8th Global Baku Forum. I wish to thank the Nizami Ganjavi International Center for organizing this important high-level event at such an important moment. The world is now facing the greatest cascade of crises in our lifetime. As stressed by UN Secretary General, we are facing 4 looming threats to human progress: surging geopolitical tensions, the climate crisis, global mistrust, and the downsides of digital technologies. The COVID-19 pandemic multiplies these threats and laid bare deep injustices and inequalities. The vision of the United Nations is that food and healthcare, water and sanitation, education and social security are not commodities for sale to those who can afford them, but basic human rights to which everyone is entitled. This vision is at the heart of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, our common blueprint for peace and prosperity on a healthy planet. The Global Baku Forum provided an opportunity not only to thoroughly discuss the most pressing global challenges, but also to explore what can governments, international organizations, civil society, and academia do together to reverse the dangerous megatrends and put our world back on track towards peace, stability, and opportunity for all. Global challenges require global solutions. Without a coordinated and effective multilateral system, governments will ultimately fail if they try to tackle cybersecurity issues, climate crisis, or poverty in isolation within their national borders, and without engaging a diverse spectrum of stakeholders: civil society, youth groups, academia, and the private sector. Contrary to those who speak about the decline or even the imminent death of the current multilateral system, I firmly believe that there is no alternative to multilateralism. At the same time, we need to transform it in order to make it fit for the 21st century. The COVID-19 pandemic made it absolutely clear that to overcome today's fragilities, we need more, not less, intergovernmental cooperation, inclusion, and strengthened, impactful multilateral institutions. Our common goal is to reinvigorate the global governance system in such a way that multilateral institutions deliver on their mandates and contribute to the achievement of our common agenda and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Participants of Global Baku Forum have an important role to play in shaping this new multilateral order with diversity, inclusion, and transparent governance at all levels. Being an important partnership-building platform, the Global Baku Forum continue paving the way towards a better global governance and more efficient and inclusive multi-stakeholder solutions to the transnational challenges. We must continue in this direction, and I wish you success in advancing these objectives. Thank you very much.
And I may add that we are launching a number of initiatives with the United Nations, including out of Geneva, where there are also a number of international agencies. My next message is from Dr. Shao Shak-Wing, co-chair of the Nizami Ganjavi International Center Global Circle of Friends. A video message from Dr. Shao.
尊敬的佛赖拜家主席、沙拉克尔丁主席、各位嘉宾、女士们、先生们，晚上好。首先，我要热烈祝贺第8届全球巴库论坛获得圆满成功。在过去3天的时间里，与会嘉宾围绕疫情后的世界这一主题，就经济恢复、可持续发展、卫生健康合作和治理改革等议题，提出了许多建设性意见和建议，让我们增强了战胜疫情的决心，看到了未来的希望。论坛的成功离不开阿塞拜疆政府的大力支持，离不开与会嘉宾的积极参与。在此，我要向阿里岳夫总统致以崇高的敬意，向佛莱拜家主席、沙拉克尔丁主席、在座的各位朋友，以及尼加米中心的全体会员和工作团队表示诚挚的感谢。今后我将与大家一起努力，继续支持巴库论坛和尼加米中心的发展。同时，我也欢迎各位朋友关注并积极参与将12月5号到7号在广州举办的成都国际论坛。谢谢大家，祝大家度过一个愉快的晚上。
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Shao, and thank you for the invitation to the Imperial Springs meetings next month. May I now turn to Her Excellency Natalia Gavrilita, Prime Minister of Moldova.
Your Excellencies, dear Mr. President Ilham Aliyev, dear participants of the 8th Global Baku Forum, I am glad that despite all the challenges posed by the pandemic, the forum has been organized again this year. The truth is that the topics to be debated here among country leaders, scientists, and many prominent personalities of the world are of paramount importance and urgent. We live in complicated times. We know that the whole world is facing the worst pandemic in the last 100 years, which will undoubtedly remain a landmark in human history. The scars of the pandemic will be felt by many generations ahead. Most countries have been forced to take drastic measures, putting a halt to their economies, introducing barriers for travel, and imposing restrictions. As a result, the global economy has experienced the deepest recession in decades, supply chains have been disrupted, millions of jobs have been lost. But most importantly, many people are feeling much more isolated and vulnerable, and unfortunately more than 5 million lives were lost due to COVID-19. The Republic of Moldova is also among the countries severely affected by the pandemic. For the last 2 years, my country, as many other nations, has had to deal with two strategic tasks: saving people and saving the economy. There is no way to achieve these goals without solidarity, and given the global scale of the challenge, the solidarity has also to be global. Mass vaccination and economic stimulus are the only immediate available remedies. That is why we are saying on every occasion to our citizens, vaccination is the only chance to stop deaths and to help the medical system, which is overburdened by massive hospitalizations. In Moldova, we have organized mobile vaccination points all over the country and vaccination centers closer to the people. The government has come up with social measures to encourage and increase the vaccination of the population, such as offering 2 days off for employees that get vaccinated. We also provide the necessary support for parents who stay at home while their children do not go to school because of quarantine, and we established a reduced activity regime and compensation for technical unemployment. On the economic side, the government, which is yet to reach its landmark 100 days, makes every effort to support entrepreneurs to keep their businesses working. This is why we are introducing subsidies for partial and technical unemployment to keep businesses open and ensure people don't lose their jobs. At the same time, after the historic plunge in global energy consumption in the early months of the COVID-19 crisis, today, as a result of an exceptionally rapid global economic recovery, the prices of many fuels have rebounded strongly and peaked at their highest level in decades during these past couple of weeks. This dramatic increase of prices for countries like the Republic of Moldova have been a shock, as they are putting enormous pressure on households, businesses, and the different sectors of the economy. The energy crisis has shown further vulnerabilities not only for my country, but also for different countries in Europe, Asia, and the United States. It has made it clear that energy security and the development of alternative energy sources are crucial for the future. Certainly, countries like Moldova couldn't make it without help from our partners. We are extremely grateful to all those who responded to our appeals and assisted us with medical equipment, vaccines, and financial support, as well as for those who have helped with solving the energy crisis Moldova has faced. I would like to highlight the role of the European Union, which has shown solidarity with the countries in the Eastern Partnership region, and we are grateful for all the support. I also want to thank the Republic of Azerbaijan specifically for the provided help and openness to cooperate. Dear participants to the forum, no one knows yet how the world will look like when this pandemic is over. This is a litmus test to our ability to cope with the challenges that are affecting entire continents. What is certain is that the future of our world will not depend exclusively on peace and security, but increasingly on the resilience of our health and economic systems. We will need impeccable management to rehabilitate the global economy and trade, and this task will have to be achieved while taking into account other global challenges such as global climate change. I believe the discussions at the Global Baku Forum, the wisdom and experience of the participants gathered at this event will help to identify sustainable solutions for the future. With these words, I greet all the participants and I wish for a successful edition of the Global Baku Forum.
Thank you. His Excellency Vladimir Norov, Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization.
Dear Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, I sincerely welcome all participants of the VIII 'th Global Baku Forum on the theme, The World After COVID-19. and express special gratitude to the Nizami Ganjavi International Center for invitation to participate in this event. For a short period of activity, the Nizami Ganjavi International Center has established itself as one of the most productive international platforms for achieving consensus and mutual understanding in solving global problems and complex situations faced by the world, promotes tolerance, dialogue, and mutual understanding between cultures and nations. The organization of this forum by the International Center is very timely and relevant when socio-economic life in all countries is experiences the negative consequences of the coronavirus pandemic. The pandemic created a crisis situation, caused significant damage to national economies, became a factor of sharp increase in unemployment and poverty, changed the way of the life of millions of people, and is a serious challenge for all mankind. In this difficult situation, we believe that global solidarity and international cooperation are the only right choice to reduce the consequences of these large-scale tests in all areas of cooperation. First of all, it is necessary to refrain from the ongoing politicization of the topic of the coronavirus pandemic, which is a global challenge to the entire international community and requires coordinated action by all states. In a number of countries, certain political forces have questioned the activities of the leading multilateral institution, as was the case with the World Health Organization. At the same time, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization member states highly appreciate and fully support the activities of WHO, follow its recommendation for the prevention and control of the spread of the diseases. The emergence of new and the persistence of all challenges to international security and stability require a qualitative rethinking of the concept of multilateralism. The pandemic has shown that there is currently no significant progress in the formation of comprehensive approaches to combating a wide range of non-traditional challenges and threats, including terrorism, drug trafficking, cross-border organized crime, cybercrime, illegal migrant and human trafficking, money laundering, corruption, climate change, etc. In this regard, the SCO, expressing support for multilateralism, calls on all countries of the world to establish and strengthen a network of horizontal partnership in the interest of complementarity and synchronization of common efforts in order to build a peaceful, safe, prosperous and environmentally friendly planet Earth. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I am confident that unwavering adherence to the principles of the Shanghai Spirit based on mutual trust and benefit, mutual consultation, respect for diversity of cultures, and the movement toward joint development will further strengthen the image of SCO as one of the effective regional pillars of modern multilateral diplomacy. The Dushanbe Declaration of SCO Anniversary Summit, adopted on September 17, 2021, reflected the main results of the organization's 20-year activity, the common position of our states on key issues of regional and global policy. This document acts as a reference point for the SCO in the near future and brings it to a new vector of development. The SCO adhering to the line that excluded blocks, ideologized and confrontational approaches to solving urgent problems of international and regional development, will continue to increase its contribution to ensuring peace and security, resolving international and regional conflicts exclusively by political and diplomatic means, based on the principles of equality, respect for sovereignty, territorial integrity, and non-interference in the internal affairs of states, non-use, force, or threaten of its use. The cornerstone of the SCO, it is not directed against third states and international organizations, and also is not and will not be military political union, nor an economic integration association with supranational decision-making bodies. Dear ladies and gentlemen, the coming decade will be a period of dynamic changes in international relations, associated with the formation of a polycentric world order, strengthening the regional level of global governance and strengthening the position of developing countries, reaffirming its firm support for the efforts of the UN as a universal multilateral organization that plays a central and coordinating role in maintaining international peace and security, stimulating global development, promoting and protecting human rights. The ASEO calls on all states and international organizations to increase cooperation in all spheres with the central coordinating role of the United Nations. The ASEO supports strengthening the authority and increasing the effectiveness of the UN through gradual reform, as well as continuous strengthening of its potential in order to adequately and promptly respond to challenges and threats. In conclusion, I would like to once again express my gratitude to the Nizami Ganjavi International Center for organizing this forum. And I am sure that during this forum will be formulated more important ideas for governing the problem which we are facing with the pandemic COVID-19. I sincerely wish the forum participants effective work and fruitful discussions. Thank you for your attention.
It was gratifying to know that thanks to the new technology, our friends from China were also able to join us, even though at the last minute. And now I would like to turn to a committed friend and supporter of the Nizami Ganjavi International Center, Excellency Mariana Verdinoianes, the Goodwill Ambassador of UNESCO.
Your Excellency, President VIII, Dr. Serajeldin, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on the successful Global Baku Forum. My mind was close to you during these days, watching the significant speeches and conversations and feeling that all of us who participate in the forum share common visions for a world of peace, security and understanding. The world after COVID-19 cannot be other than a world of global solidarity and cooperation. The challenges are so great that only together we can achieve progress and fulfill our aspirations for a better future. Initiatives like the Global Baku Forum give us the opportunity to join forces towards this cause. Thanks to all of you, your views, your knowledge, and your determinations, the feeling of hope in our heart gets stronger today. I would like to express my deep respect to their excellencies, the President of Azerbaijan, Mr. Ilham Aliyev, and the Vice President, Mrs. Mahriban Aliyeva, for their support to the Nizami Ganjavi International Center and to this great event. My warmest congratulations to our co-chairs, President Vaira Vaik-Freiberger and Dr. Ismail Serajeldin, as well as to the Secretary General, our dear Rosman Muradov, and all the staff for the successful organization. I'm sending you my best greetings from Greece and my best wishes, hoping that we will soon meet again in person. Thank you very much.
Mariana. Thank you, dear Mariana. And I really, now I know that this is a hybrid event, so we have had some videos, but we are very delighted that some of our speakers in this closing session are live. live. And may I now call His Royal Highness Prince Turki Faisal Al Saud, Chairman of the Board of the King Faisal Center for Research and Islamic Studies, Your Highness, the floor is yours.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. President Weike Freiberger, Dr. Ismail Sirajuddin, thank you, and the Global Forum, Baku Forum, and the Nizami Ganjavi International Center for this kind invitation. Rovshan Muradov, where are you? A special thanks to you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, on November 22nd, 2020, the G20 Summit was held under the chairmanship of the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz, via Zoom. The King proposed to the leaders of the G20 the creation of a fund to support global efforts to combat the coronavirus pandemic and donated $500 million to the fund. He also allocated $150 million to the Coalition of Epidemic Preparedness and Innovation, $150 million to the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, and $200 million to other health organizations and programs, in total $1 billion. The Kingdom also offered corona aid to several countries, including China, Tunisia, Yemen, and others. The highest number of daily cases of COVID-19 in Saudi Arabia was recorded on the 2nd of June, previous to that date, 2020, 4,193 cases. On the final day of the summit, there were 231 new cases and 16 deaths in Saudi Arabia. 2 days ago, the number of cases have gone down to 45, with only 1 death. And 2 days ago as well, 70% of the population of the Kingdom had received 2 doses of the Pfizer, Moderna, and AstraZeneca vaccines. All residents of Saudi Arabia, even the illegal immigrants, are vaccinated and treated without charge. This pandemic will not be the last pandemic humanity will face in the future. Common issues like climate, poverty, nuclear proliferation, and inequality between people and nations require new thinking to overcome the challenges facing our world. Tackling all these urgent issues requires multilateralism and not unilateralism, as we said over lunch. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, ladies and gentlemen, is surrounded by conflict from every direction. I have a recurring dream of breaking off the Arabian Peninsula from the Asian mainland and sailing into the ocean to lay anchor somewhere near Sweden and Denmark. Alas, geography will not permit that. So we have to resolve our conflicts for us to enjoy similar peace and quietude as Sweden and Denmark do. The war in Yemen was not started by Saudi Arabia, in spite of what Western media outlets have been broadcasting. The Kingdom, along with her coalition partners, answered the call of the legitimate government of Yemen to challenge the illegal coup d'etat of the Houthis to take power in Yemen. The subsequent UN Security Council Resolution 2216 in 2015 supported Yemen's call for help, condemned the Houthis, and imposed an arms embargo on them. That arms embargo has been repeatedly broken by Iran, which continues to supply the Houthis with ballistic missiles and drones, and which are launched by them against civilian targets in Yemen and in Saudi Arabia. The Iranians also supply the Houthis with advisors, mainly from Hezbollah in Lebanon, to launch the missiles and drones. The United Nations Security Council just a few weeks ago condemned the Houthis for their assault on civilians, but it has not sanctioned Iran for supplying them with these lethal weapons. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia has offered a peace plan that will ensure a ceasefire of hostilities, opening up Sana'a airport for humanitarian aid and seaports as well, and the start of dialogue between all parties in Yemen to resolve all the issues. The UN and the world community have endorsed the Saudi plan, not the Houthis or Iran. The Kingdom, ladies and gentlemen, is also the biggest donor of financial and humanitarian aid directly to the liberated territories under the control of the legitimate government of Yemen and through United Nations agencies to those territories under the control of the Houthis. In Syria, the Kingdom supports the efforts of the United Nations to reach a peaceful solution to the civil war there. In Iraq, Saudi Arabia is working with the Iraqi government to help in strengthening it not only in the face of the terrorist groups, but also in challenging the Iranian-backed militias which stymie the Iraqi people's quest for peace and security. Across the Red Sea, Saudi Arabia, with the full support of our Egyptian brothers, established the Council of Arab African States bordering the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. However, the civil war in Ethiopia and the terrorist threat from Somalia raised deep concern and bewaredness in the Kingdom, not only from terrorism, but also from the influx of illegal immigrants into Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Arab Peace Initiative for Peace in the Middle East is still on the table. It has been endorsed by all the world, but not yet by Israel, and ironically, not even by Iran. I conclude my remarks by recalling Saudi Arabia's commitment to achieve carbon emissions made recently by the Saudi Energy Minister in 2060. This was at the Saudi and the Middle East Green Initiative hosted in Riyadh before the Glasgow Energy Conference. We are not the ones who are blocking the advancement of the use of clean energy. On the contrary, we are ahead of the ones who boast about it, but do not recognize that there has to be an orderly transition from harmful gases to clean emissions, and to ask us to stop investing in oil and gas extraction. That is like us asking others to slaughter all of their cattle and sheep to stop the emanation of methane gas in the atmosphere. Already, the Kingdom is working to make Arabia and the Middle East greener by planting literally billions of trees, which will absorb the carbon in the atmosphere, and also by extraction and capturing carbon from the emissions of oil and gas. We are also in the forefront of developing green hydrogen as the cleanest and most economic source of energy, and our solar and wind farms are already reaping the bounty that God gave us when He gave us the sunlight that we enjoy and the wind that blows across our lands. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Royal Highness, and for some sobering inputs as we are coming to a close. I would normally now be calling Her Excellency President Vieira, but before I do that, there is an artist among us who has devoted her work to peace. And although she expresses herself primarily with her art, she has kindly consented to share with us 2 words or 3 words. So may I call on head of us here to please say a few words with us. Join us, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here. It's just very short, few words. And I just want to say that in my capacity as UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador and Special Envoy for Culture Diplomacy, I would like, in view of collaborating with the Nizami Ganjavi International Center, and as I want also to work, as you know, I'm working for peace. I'm developing all a program for peace with my sculptures, with my program at UNESCO. And I'm very happy to be here and to represent UNESCO along with my colleague, Mrs. Mariana Verdinoianes, UNESCO also Goodwill Ambassador. So it was very short. I'm very happy to be here. I want to thank the two co-presidents, first of all. I would like to thank so much Rovshan for your amazing, amazing work, and also for all your equipe, all your team, which are really fantastic. They were taking care of everything, all the details. And thank you for all the audience. Thank you for the 3 wonderful days. It was amazing. And the most important thing, which was, we felt all that we are here really in a very, very big family. And this was a wonderful feeling. So thank you for all, and I'm very, very happy to collaborate with you. Thank you.
And now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am very honored, of course, to call to the podium our beloved co-chair, President Bayra Vike Freiberger.
Thank you, Ismail, my dear friend and colleague. Your Royal Highness, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Baku Global Forum, the 8th one in number, is drawing to a close. And I'd like to express our warmest thanks on behalf of the International Board of Advisors that has created the Baku Forum on the wishes of President Ilham Aliyev in its early stages. I'd like to thank everybody who has measured long, long distances and taken, in many cases, a great deal of time out of their busy and fulfilling lives to be here tonight and to be here for the days of the forum, to share with us their experience, their knowledge, their understanding of the world, and to come up and to propose steps and concrete actions that might make things better. As we are meeting here in Glasgow, heads of state and government are addressing what is probably the most urgent problem of the day, in spite of everything else that is happening, and that is the global climate change and the threats that it poses in so many ways, in so many parts of the world. But as we heard from Prince Turki and from others, strife, conflict, injustice, exploitation, inequality, misunderstandings, misinformation are still rife in the world. The young people who met in Glasgow in parallel with the heads of state and government were clamoring for action, for hard decisions, for hard commitments. And many of them are saying, where there's too much talk going on and too little action. But the talk is necessary. It is necessary at the level of heads of state and government, but it's also necessary in wider society. And this is why the Nizami Ganjavi International Center, as a locus and a meeting place, a forum, an agora for the exchange of ideas, for the exchange of experience, for the exchange of suggestions as to how to do things better, has an important role to play, as do other organizations with similar aims. Thoughts come before words, and words come before actions. It is very important for a mass of people, the largest possible mass of people in the world, to understand what makes for peace, prosperity, and happiness, and what are the factors that counter it. Ideas are important. Exchanging ideas is more important still. This is why the freedom of speech and of expression is such a crucial part of the ideals that we hold dear. 880 years ago, the great poet Nizami Ganjavi embodied many of these ideals in his poetry. Today, here at the center, this is the 8th time we are convening such a large group of participants. We are trying to carry on a nearly 1,000-year-old tradition, older in some parts of the world, because there always have been people who have ideas that are constructive and forward-looking and humane, and their contrary. I fear that probably they will be with us forever, but we have to work for an equilibrium so that as many people as possible can have the happiness they deserve. We were hoping that the COVID-19 pandemic would be closer to its extinction, and we're happy to hear that in some countries, such as Saudi Arabia, that goal is quickly being achieved. But in other places, and my country Latvia being included among them, the third wave is in full swing, and we still have a long way to go, even though vaccinations, the number of vaccinated is increasing every day, and hopefully will extend to those countries which so far have not been much engaged. So thank you for being here in spite of the pandemic. Thank you for being here in spite of the potential danger of infection that all of us who travel might encounter in our path. Your being here is important to all of us, I think mutually. In seeing so many faces of old friends, in seeing delightful new friends that we are meeting here for the first time, we all realize how there's nothing better, nothing to replace real human contact from person to person, in the same place, at the same time, and sharing ideas that are not always identical in conviction and in the positions they adopt, but doing so in an atmosphere of friendliness, of openness, and of an understanding of the possibility that differences need not make us enemies. To make all this happen, we have had, over the years, the full support of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan. President Ilham Aliyev, the Vice President Mehriban Aliyeva have been great supporters of this initiative. They understand the importance of it. But to carry it out and to do all the practical preparations, we have had a young Secretary General who started out as a rather young boy when I first met him, and was very busy in Azerbaijan in doing various things with youth groups and so forth, and who gathered around him a team of equally young people who have been growing up with the organization, who have been growing up in professional skill, in diplomatic skill, and becoming an entity that accomplishes, in my opinion, what in other countries and in other settings might take twice or three times the human resources that they possess here all of them put together. I'd like to express here publicly the appreciation of the International Council of NGIC to Rovshan Muradov as a force of nature who has been truly the moving force of the advance and the enlargement of the Baku Forum, who has been the moving force behind all the events that we have had just about in every part of the world, except I think we still need to go to sub-Saharan Africa. And of course, Antarctica is not in our plans. And the staff that he has gathered around him, we have already several times applauded them and thanked them, but truly they cannot be thanked enough. But there was a time when I would dare to go and embrace every single one of them, and we're told that that is not the thing to do. But I think we can collectively embrace them all and say thank you, thank you, thank you. And to you, ladies and gentlemen, we look forward to seeing you again, and I wish you tomorrow, for those who are going to Shusha, to have an interesting continuation of this conference. God bless you all, and we'll see you the next time.
Thank you, President Vieira. And I would like, of course, to join President Vieira in thanking His Excellency President Ilham Aliyev for his continuous support to the NGIC, and Her Excellency also Mrs. Mariana Aliyeva for her support to all things cultural, including NGIC. But more importantly, I think I would like to join once more in thanking our young Secretariat. Now, I am, as many of you are, very experienced in many international organizations. I think most of us attend a lot of meetings all over the world, but I can assure you I have never seen a more efficient, more dedicated team that can, with such a small number of people, pull off a gathering of this scale. So I would like again to thank Rovshan, Ilaha, Togrul, Asim, and all the others, including all the volunteers who come and work just for the purpose of this meeting. So please join me in thanking them one more time. And now we are coming to a close. I had the privilege and honor of declaring this forum open in the presence of His Excellency President Aliyev. And we have been thinking about what the world should look like post-COVID. And so we have run into a lot of things, including the fact that there are many challenges. And the world we live in right now, as we move towards hopefully the end of this pandemic, we are not yet out of the woods. And please, I would like to say that this is a meeting that takes us to the future. That meeting is based on a recognition that we don't have yet all the answers, and that we are at a difficult point in our history. And it has been beautifully said that there is a tide in the affairs of men which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. Omitted all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves or lose our ventures. But, ladies and gentlemen, we shall not lose our ventures. We shall bend the curves to serve our purpose. And I think it can be done, must be done, and with the goodwill of everybody here and other friends, it shall be done as we move forwards and onwards to better tomorrows. And so I thank you all as we declare this forum closed, and we look forward to see you all at the Global Baku Forum 2022. Thank you.